Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix. Welcome back to my series that ground to a halt about 2 months ago, Astro Bites. And that's because I was doing too many and burnt myself out. So I've now recovered and it's 2025. Wow! And here we have the first Astro Bite of 2025. You won't be getting them every day. They will come on the days when there's something important to talk about. And today, January the 3rd, really does have something very important to talk about. Because today we have our fiery planet Mars in Leo retrograde. And Mars, remember, was the god of war, is the planet that represents assertion, activity, physical activity, and also it can be on a shadowy side, arguments, irritability, frustration. Mars, though, rules the sign of Aries. Mars has already had one opposition to Pluto. Pluto in Aquarius, our planet of transition, transformation, beginnings, endings, rebirth. So the first time these two met was on November the 3rd. And if you remember, this was around the time that we had the American election, which was, as usual, controversial and full of divisiveness, people really feeling very angry and irritated or joyous and happy. So we had these two extremes of energy. But that was when Mars was in Cancer and Pluto was in the final degrees of Capricorn. So that was very much about breaking down the old way of doing things, whether that's on the planet and the world stage or whether it's in your personal life. Today's is slightly different because today Mars is in Leo. So Mars, a fire planet in Leo, a fixed fire sign. This is where Mars is really combustible. Opposite Pluto now for the next 20 years in the sign of Aquarius, which is an air sign, but also fixed. Now, very sadly, the day I'm recording this, which is the 29th of December, there was a terrible air disaster in South Korea. And when I woke up and saw the news of this dreadful event, I just thought, here we go. We're building up to the Pluto-Mars opposition. They're already in opposition on the day I'm recording this. And think of the words I was using: combustible, fire. And Pluto is in Aquarius, which is about aviation. And I'm sorry to start on such a somber note, and my heart and condolences go out to the people who were lost in this disaster and their families and their friends. Now, will we see more of this? Because this was actually the second of an air disaster. And with this energy so keen at the moment, then anything is possible. But what I want to say is, you know, there are two sides to every story and to every energy. How, as you often hear me say, do we flip the energy into the positive? How do we come at this energy on a personal level in our personal lives with Pluto opposite Mars in a way that can be transforming for us, that helps us transition to the next stage and level of personal growth for us through the energy that we can get from the planet Mars. Now, while I was getting the chart up for this, and I'll talk about the chart in a minute, what I actually did was just look up who Mars was. He was the god of war. But I thought, I don't actually know a great deal about Mars in his Roman guise as god of war, because in Aries, he is the Greek god of war, because the Greeks and the Romans had different names for these same energies and deities. So what's interesting is that unlike his Greek counterpart Aries, Mars was not solely a god of chaotic war. He was also a god of agriculture, a protector of Rome, and a symbol of military power used for securing peace. And Mars has ties to agriculture, symbolizing the cycles of nature, the protection of crops, reflecting the duality of destruction and renewal. Now, when I read this, I thought, now I can make sense of this Mars-Pluto opposition, because this is actually about a move towards peace and harmony, so that the transition and the transformation, whether it's in your own lives, in a relationship, in a situation in your workplace, in a situation with your family, with a loved one, where you can look for a way to resolve your differences in a peaceful way that can bring renewal and growth for both of you, even if the decision is to go in separate directions, that you can have good and positive closure to situations that are tough and difficult. You know, when friendships and relationships reach the kind of end of their, let's say, their lifespan, it can be very difficult for either side to find a way to bring a conclusion and to admit to the other party, I need to move on. We are not in the same place. Now, that can be used or exorcised in a way that can be crass, ugly, clumsy, and hurtful. That would be the negative side of the Pluto-Mars opposition. The positive side would be to say, this is how I'm feeling. This is where I am. It is not about you. It is about me. That one would own the reasons for the differences, for the feelings of needing to perhaps pull away in a relationship situation. I say this because the event chart shows Pluto opposite Mars on the descendant and the ascendant. Mars is on the descendant, relationships, the other, duality, and Pluto is on the ascendant. This is transformation. By April the 26th, 27th, you will get the final resolution, full understanding to this particular situation. So what else did I find out about Mars? Because he was also considered the father of Romulus and Remus. And they were the two babes that were raised and found by wolves and were the legendary founders of the city of Rome. So this made Mars a divine ancestor of the Roman people and a central figure in Roman identity. He was seen as a guardian of Rome. So if we take the symbol of this, Mars is also a guardian in the event chart of your relationship status. Mars is not trying to destroy your friendships and relationships. Mars is trying to help you find the right relationships for where you are now, for your new way forward in 2025. The month of March was named after the god Mars. And March marks the beginning of the year and the astrological new year with the spring equinox. And also in ancient Rome, it was the military campaign season. But this symbolized renewal and action. So, interestingly, Mars was often depicted as a bearded warrior or as a youthful, muscular figure wearing armor and carrying a spear or a shield. Now, his sacred animals included the wolf, symbolizing ferocity, and the woodpecker, representing tenacity. Now, I thought that was fascinating. You think of a woodpecker, tap, 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 tap. I mean, wow. When you think what the lengths to which a woodpecker goes. However, in this situation, I would say I would err in a relationship status on the side of caution to be the woodpecker, tapping away at a situation that does not serve you. Make sure the situation that you are in is of service to you and for the highest good of yourself, the other, and the larger community. Oh, my cat started running around and scratching. So there we go. But Mars was a unifying figure for Roman society, representing not only war, but also discipline and strength, stability. And that's what sustained the Roman Empire. Now, I think what is so super interesting about this is that both these planets in the astrological event chart are at 1 degree of their respective signs. Mars actually retrogrades back into Cancer tomorrow. And Pluto will move on and stay within now the realms of the airy fixed sign of Aquarius. But the fact that they are on the ascendant descendant is really making a huge statement of intent. Think clearly about the relationships and friendships that you value, that you wish to move forward with in your life through 2025. Yes, it is devastating sometimes when we lose friendships and they end. But, you know, this is the cycle of life, and this is the transformational process of the planet Pluto about death, birth, and renewal. Sometimes a friendship can be renewed into the next kind of stage or phase, so it gets rebirth and regenerated. But if it has gone by its sell-by date, let him, let her, let them go. This is a year and a time in particular now of tremendous change with us, with relationships, groups of people. It's almost as if we're a pack of cards and the cosmos is giving us a good shuffle, shuffling us together and spreading us out on a table and mixing us all up because it is time for change. It's time for transformation. And that is my word for the day. Orrin Woodward said, "You must be willing to give up what you are to become what you want to be." Jim Rohn said, "Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change." And transformation isn't sweet and bright. It's a dark and murky, painful pushing and unraveling, and yet it is worth every moment. That was Victoria Erickson who said that. Machona Dilhuayo said, don't fear transformation. The caterpillar must endure the cocoon to become the butterfly. And finally, Leonardo DiCaprio said, every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. So bearing that in mind, there we go. The first Astro Bite of 2025. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. Please remember, as always, to like, comment and subscribe and share. And remember to check out my channel with Sarah Sands-Smith. And we talk about all sorts of interesting things there. The blue orbs, the blue light beings, channeling, all sorts of things. And remember that this is going to be a challenging year in many ways. And you know what you can do with the energy? You flip it. Don't be a pawn to the cosmos. Play your part well. Take your part and read it well. And think, this is the way. This is the direction I choose to go this year. We have choice. Never forget you have choice in how you respond and react to situations. And don't react. Respond. Walk away. Give yourself time to think to any shocks and sudden events that may happen to you around this date or to any of us. Just take a step back and think, breathe. Let me think about this. Don't get into knee-jerk kind of reactions. And on that note, thinking I was going to make this a really short Astro Bite, 17 minutes long, I'm going to end. Listen, you're all friggin' awesome. I love you loads. And I look forward to seeing you next time for another Astro Bite. Bye for now. Bye.